Former President Trump will visit East Palestine, Ohio later today after criticizing the federal response to the derailment of Norfolk Southern train carrying toxic chemicals derailing there. And for more on that, we're joined by Ohio journalist Jordan Miller from JordanMiller.com. Jordan, good morning.
Hi, Mitch. How are you?
I'm doing well. I hope the folks in East Palestine are doing well as well. What do you think their reception will be for the former president there?
You know, I've talked to a lot of people in East Palestine, and that is a red country. People voted for Donald Trump. I had someone who told me last week, I voted for him twice. Said, I'm not looking forward to him coming here. We're already tired of people being here who shouldn't be here. And here we go with a political circus coming into town is what a lot of people are saying right now. They just want help, and they're not sure what a former president can do besides just bring more attention to what's happening.
Yeah, I'm sure they're past the stage of wanting attention. They seem to have plenty of attention, but it's a matter of substantive acts in order to get their lives back together. And I understand that they opened up that medical clinic there yesterday, but Rich McHugh was telling us that it kind of wasn't ready to handle them. I wonder if you can illuminate that for us a little bit. Did people go into that medical clinic yesterday? Did it do them any good? Did they walk away feeling any better?
No, I'm hearing that it's more of an open health fair, essentially. You're walking in, you're being seen. That way, at least you're on record being seen. If you don't have insurance, you're able to be seen. But there's many people who still haven't gotten in. There's many people who haven't gotten through to the phone numbers that are listed. And we asked the question during the press conference yesterday, can Pennsylvania residents who are right across the border in Darlington Township, who had to be evacuated too, are they allowed to go to the health clinic? And they said, yeah, they're allowed. Anyone can go. No one will be turned away. But the people in Pennsylvania said, I wasn't able to get in. I've been calling. No one's returned my phone calls. And if it's a health clinic, I would think that they would be a little more prompt in getting people in to be seen.
Sure, I understand that too. Something else that caught my eye when reading about this is that Norfolk Southern, this is a direct quote, we are reimbursing residents for the disruption that has been added to their lives. And there's another quote that says that Norfolk Southern is committing $3.4 million to direct financial assistance. But are people on the ground actually getting money from Norfolk Southern? Is that happening?
I know that they did these $1,000 inconvenience checks is what they called them. So in a sense, anyone who lives within East Palestine just has to show up with proof of residency, and you would be handed a check for $1,000. Now, that apparently isn't going to be the total, the full payout in it. But I spoke to a lady who told me, I'm paying $1,000 a week right now in lodging for my family of 6, and I haven't been able to receive any other money from Norfolk Southern for my housing fees right now. So I don't know where this $3.4 million has gone so far, but if you talk to residents who are on the ground, they're all going to tell you, yeah, I don't feel as though I've received any of that $3.4 million.
Well, yeah, and Rich McHugh, again, to bring him up, he talked to a homeowner yesterday who was saying, I'm going to sell my house at a steep loss because I can't bring my family back here. So a one-time $1,000 check doesn't seem like it's going to do that much good. I want to ask about Governor DeWine and the EPA Administrator Regan taking drinks very publicly of tap water there. What did you make of that? Is it a political stunt, or does this prove, hey, we did it, you can do it, it's safe?
Yeah, I was there yesterday at the press conference, and afterwards I got the opportunity to speak with Governor DeWine. And I said, did you really drink the tap water? He said, yeah, and it was good. It was good. I think that this is just their way of saying, you know what, we are here, we're going to drink this tap water, but also people don't care. Is that well water? We don't know. As far as I know, it came from the regular system, the city water, which that isn't what people are really concerned about being contaminated. It's the tap water in some of the more country homes, the well water that people are worried about drinking. That's what they're worried about washing their kids in and washing their dishes, is that tap water. And to hear that they were out here drinking village, regular city water, again, it's going to come off as a slap in the face to many residents.
Well, yeah, and just the fact that he took one sip and didn't have a third eye sprout from his forehead doesn't necessarily mean that we're all going to be fine there in East Palestine. You mentioned Pennsylvania just across the state line. Let me ask you this, too. The Pennsylvania governor says that there have been criminal referrals made in that state regarding Norfolk Southern and this train derailment. So I wonder if we're going to see that in Ohio.
I asked Governor DeWine about that yesterday, and he said he doesn't know what the Ohio laws will permit or allow, but Attorney General Dave Yost will look into any criminal charges if possible. It did come as a surprise, though. I feel as though that was the first time many of us learned yesterday that Pennsylvania's governor, Josh Shapiro, and their Department of Environmental Services department, that's the first time we heard that they had made a criminal referral to their attorney general. We don't know.
And Jordan, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we got to be really quick here. I do have to ask, Josh Shapiro, newly elected Democrat, Mike DeWine, multi-term Republican. Is this being politicized, whether or not there are going to be criminal referrals on Norfolk Southern, or is it just that Ohio doesn't have the same circumstances?
I'm not sure. I feel as though Ohio was impacted the most when it comes to this, Mitch. And Shapiro says that this isn't a political back and forth, but we do have this split Democrats, Republicans. We have Trump coming into town. We have people calling for Biden to come into town. People could say it's not political, but at the end of the day, I think most of us know.
Everything's political, right? All right. That's Jordan Miller, jordanmiller.com, an independent journalist in Ohio covering the East Palestine train derailment. We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And we are